Hi, this is Brendan from Watto Training, and in this tutorial we take a look at workplace training. Workplace training is also known as on-the-job training. This tutorial caters for Queensland applicants of the TLI41222 Certificate 4 in Motor Vehicle Driver Training, heavy vehicle applicants. This tutorial is specifically designed for trainee driving instructors, driving school owners, fleet owners, managers, and trainers. What is training? Training is teaching or developing in oneself or others any skills, knowledge, or type of behavior that relate to specific useful competencies. Training has specific goals of improving one's capability, capacity, productivity, and performance. Let's take a quick look at the TLI41222 for heavy vehicle trainee instructors. There are 11 units of competency. There are 5 core units. Trainees must do all units of Group B, 1 unit from Group D, and then 1 unit from Group E. Here's a slide showing all the units that make up the course. So you can see the core units on the top left, bottom left, Group B units, top right, Group D units, and bottom right, Group E units. The course will develop your knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Knowledge is defined as facts and information acquired through experience or education on a subject. A skill is the learned ability to perform an action with determined results with good execution, often within a given amount of time, energy, or both. Attitude refers to a set of emotions, beliefs, and behaviors towards a particular object, person, thing, or event. Attitudes are often the result of experience or upbringing, and they can have a powerful influence over behavior. While attitudes are enduring, they can also change. Understanding learning. Learning is the acquisition of knowledge or skills through study, experience, or being taught. Everyone processes and learns new information in different ways. There are 3 main cognitive learning styles: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Understanding how you learn can help maximize time you spend studying by incorporating different techniques to custom fit various subjects, concepts, and learning objectives. We promote and encourage trainee instructors to use self-directed learning. Self-directed learning describes a process in which individuals take the initiative with or without the help of others in diagnosing their learning needs, formulating learning goals, identifying human and material resources for learning, choosing and implementing appropriate learning strategies, and evaluating learning outcomes. Engage in the learning process. Students need to understand themselves as learners in order to understand their needs as self-directed learning students. What is your learning style? Each preferred learning style has methods that fit the different ways an individual may learn best. Visual learners. Visual learners use visual objects such as graphs, charts, pictures, and seeing information. They can read body language well and have a good perception of aesthetics. They're able to memorize and recall various information. They tend to remember things that are written down, and they learn effectively by watching training delivery. Learning strategies for visual learners. Turn notes into pictures, charts, or maps. Avoid distractions. Learn the big picture first and then focus on the details. Make mind and concept maps instead of outlines. Color code parts of new concepts in notes. Use flashcards when trying to study jargon, e.g. staggered intersection and combination turn. Auditory learners. Auditory learners retain information through hearing and speaking. They often prefer to be told how to do things and then summarize the main points out loud to help with memorization. They may concentrate better with soft music playing in the background. Learning strategies for auditory learners. Record lectures and then listen to them. Repeat material out aloud and in your own words. Discuss training, learning with a coach, mentor, classmate. Read learning guides aloud. Listen to wordless background music while studying. Kinesthetic learners. Likes to use the hands-on approach to learn new material. Would rather demonstrate how to do something rather than verbally explain it. Let's look at some learning strategies for kinesthetic learners. Take study breaks often. Learn new material while doing something active, e.g. read a book while riding on a treadmill. Work while standing up. Try to take lessons with instructors. Heavy vehicle instructor training pathways. There are three main types of training for the development of trainee driver trainers: off-the-job training, induction, and on-the-job, also known as workplace. Let's take a look at off-the-job training. Off-the-job training is training that is undertaken outside the place of work. This training can take place at a college or registered training organisation. 2. Induction training. Induction training is offered to new employees when they join a driving school and usually includes a tour of the premises, head office, introduction to colleagues, health and safety information, specific training on any duties, skills required to do the job, company policies and procedures. 3. On-the-job training. On-the-job training can be a highly effective learning experience for a trainee instructor. It is undertaken in the workplace, i.e. the driving school. An experienced trainer facilitates the development of the trainee instructor using hands-on practical experience. A training log is used to record training, learning sessions, and submitted to the assessor at the end of the workplace training program as evidence of training. There are a number of different types of on-the-job training: coaching, role play, job rotation, shadowing, demonstration, teaching, and assessment and feedback. Let's have a look at each of those now. Coaching. Coaching is not training. Coaches give information, but they support those they coach in developing their own skills and knowledge. Role play. Role play involves acting out a scenario to see how an employee would perform under certain conditions. This will allow the employee to practice appropriate ways to deal with situations that may occur in the workplace. Job rotation. Members of staff can be rotated through different tasks, exercises within the training program so they acquire a range of skills from each training exercise. Shadowing. Shadowing is when an employee observes another employee working to gain a better understanding of how they do their job. Demonstration. A demonstration is the process of teaching someone how to make or do something in a step-by-step process. As you show how, you tell what you are doing. For example, a training instructor sits in the back of a driving school car and watches a trainer as they teach a learner how to perform a reverse park. Teaching. Teaching can be defined as impart knowledge to or instruct someone as to how to do something, or cause someone to learn or understand something by example or experience. Assessment and feedback. Assessment is the process of collecting evidence and making judgments on whether competency has been achieved to confirm that an individual can perform to the standard required in the workplace. Competency is defined as the consistent application of knowledge and skill to the standard of performance required in the workplace. It embodies the ability to transfer and apply skills and knowledge to new situations and environments. Assessment and feedback. Feedback is an essential part of effective learning. It helps students understand the subject being studied and gives them clear guidance on how to improve their learning. Feedback can improve a student's confidence, self-awareness, and enthusiasm for learning. Training instructors' role in on-the-job training. Self-assess your readiness to learn. Define your learning goals and develop a learning contract. Monitor your learning process. Take initiative for all stages of the learning process. Be self-motivated. Re-evaluate and alter goals as required during your unit of study. Consult with your workplace instructor as required. The instructor's role in on-the-job training. Build a cooperative learning environment. Help to motivate and direct the trainee instructor's learning experience. Facilitate trainee instructors' initiatives for learning. Be available for consultations as appropriate during the learning process. Serve as a coach rather than a formal instructor. The advantage for employers. On-the-job training is beneficial for employers as it narrows down and prepares the skills employees who are right for the company. Through on-the-job training, the training instructor learns about the company's values, strategy, and goals. Advantages for employees. For employees, on-the-job training is beneficial because it allows them to learn a new skill or qualification within their field of work in a timely manner. During on-the-job training, they are engaged in the real training experiences instead of a simulated learning process. The new trainer is being introduced to the team through the on-the-job training process, which builds positive workplace relations. Disadvantages. On-the-job training can be of disadvantage for the company when the new employee doesn't have the required skills or lacks commitment and focus. This will result in more time needed for the training to be completed and will cost the company more since it takes the trainer more time to develop the trainee instructor. On-the-job training can often cause distraction of the regular working day, which can affect productivity. If training instructors are not introduced to the safety issues and expectations in relation to appropriate behaviour prior to on-the-job training, there could be issues during the training process. The Code of Conduct for Accredited Driver Trainers 2022 is a good reference for all candidates to read prior to the workplace training model. The purpose of the Department of Transport and Main Roads TMR Code of Conduct for Queensland Accredited Driver Trainers, also known as the Code, is to provide clear standards of conduct that accredited driver trainers, ADTs, must adhere to at all times in association with activities connected to or associated with providing pre-license driver training. TMR, the community, and the driver training industry have an expectation that all ADTs will put learner drivers first, have a comprehensive knowledge of the road rules, demonstrate safe driving behaviours and attitudes that promote road safety and display professional and respectful conduct. This code can be found on the TMR website. It also should be provided to learner drivers and members of the public on request. The principal objective of the professional driver trainer is to provide an educational experience to learner drivers which promotes the necessary knowledge, attitude and skill base for the efficient and safe operation of a motor vehicle on our public road system. How can we achieve this? This can be achieved through building attitudes leading to cooperative and responsible conduct on our road system, developing habits, knowledge, and skills that will enable the learner to become proficient drivers under a variety of changing conditions, creating awareness so that the learner drivers are able to identify and apply techniques to counteract potential dangers, facilitating a knowledge and understanding of the road rules, giving an understanding of their own capabilities and limitations as a driver, and enabling the learner to make suitable corrections and compensations for their own limitations. To achieve this, accredited driver trainers should consider the learner driver as an individual, be in control but also show empathy, be approachable, be patient, provide appropriate feedback, give praise if deserved, use the right senses, keep instruction simple, consider the human factor, set a good example at all times. Assessment preliminaries. Prior to the licensed candidate undertaking the driving assessment, accredited driver trainers should ensure that all client eligibility requirements have been checked and confirmed. All required documentation, including evidence of the successful completion of the knowledge test questions, the candidate's learner license and logbook have been presented and approved. The assessment vehicle must be of a suitable type and meet assessment requirements for the license class. Refer to the QSAFE Driver License Assessment Policy, QSAFE. Pre-assessment checklist. Accredited driver trainers should maintain a pre-assessment checklist designed to ensure the licensed candidate's readiness to begin the formal assessment process. The licensed candidate can be deemed to be test ready only if the evidence gathered by the driver trainer is valid, sufficient, current, and authentic. This evidence should be collected, compiled, and kept by the driver trainer as part of their record-keeping obligations. The pre-assessment checklist should include client details, for example, name, license number, and date. Client eligibility, for example, hold the correct license/class of license for the appropriate period. Fitness of applicant, for example, drugs, alcohol, medical condition. Administrative tasks, for example, fees and forms. Theory test questions/road rules. Pre-drive vehicle safety check, external and internal. Operating procedures, starting. Low-risk driving behaviours. Vehicle operation, for example, steering, braking, clutch, gears, turns, accelerator, road position, observation scanning, mirrors, and signals. Manoeuvres, for example, reversing, hill start, turnaround, U-turn, and reverse park. And vehicle shutdown. Further focus points for on-the-job training. Safety. Try and keep training as safe as possible at all times. Training area selection. Think about where training occurred, how did it go, are there any improvements that could be made, did the learner achieve the learning outcomes in the session, where to next. Time management. Record keeping. Keeping a record of the progress of the student in the session. Feedback on driving performance to the learner during and at the end of the session. Communication, verbal and non-verbal. Did the student have English as a second language? What strategies were employed, such as hand signals, simple language, and diagrams? Did the learner have any learning difficulties or disabilities, and how were they addressed/managed? Road rule clarification. How was this managed? Management of the learner's emotional state, nerves, anxiety, fear. How did they go during the session, and how was it managed? Were the learning objectives clearly communicated? Did the trainer appear to be working to a plan that progressed the learner forward in their learning program? This has been Brendan from Watto Training.